It was a Sunday evening in late autumn, the kind of night when the cool air outside carried the faint scent of burning wood and fallen leaves, while the warmth inside the house wrapped around anyone who stepped through the door. I'd spent most of the day cooking, preparing everything for our traditional family dinner. Sundays were always sacred for us. A time for me, my husband James, our 2 kids, and sometimes my parents or siblings when they visited. But that night, it was just the 4 of us. Even after a long day, I felt content, happy to gather together at the table once more. Dinner was filled with laughter and easy chatter. My 17-year-old son Michael couldn't resist teasing his younger sister Sarah about her science project. She rolled her eyes in that dramatic teenage way, though I caught the faint smile tugging at her lips. James shared a story from work that had us laughing so hard, Sarah nearly spilled her milk. These were the moments I cherished most, the quiet, ordinary ones, where nothing grand happened, yet love filled every corner of the room. When the meal ended, Sarah excused herself to get ready for school, and James went to the living room to watch a football game. That left just Michael and me sitting at the table, surrounded by empty plates, half-filled glasses of iced tea, and the comforting aroma of roasted chicken and apple pie lingering in the air. I began stacking dishes, but Michael's voice stopped me. "Mom, can I talk to you about something?" "Just us." There was a tone in his voice I hadn't heard before. Low, uncertain, almost fragile. I set the plates down and sat across from him, my heart instantly alert. "Of course, honey." "What is it?" Michael leaned back in his chair, staring at his hands. For a long moment he didn't speak. I noticed how much he had changed. His shoulders broader, his face sharper. And yet, in that silence, he looked like the same little boy I used to hold when nightmares woke him in the middle of the night. Finally, he looked up at me. "Mom, do you think I'm a disappointment?" The words hit me like a punch to the chest. "What? Michael, why would you even ask that?" He swallowed, his voice tight. "Because sometimes I feel like I don't measure up." Dad's always talking about how hard he worked when he was my age. You're always juggling everything. Work, the house, us, like it's nothing. And then there's me, messing up math tests, getting benched in basketball, having no clue what I want to do after high school. I don't want you to feel like you got the short end of the stick for a son. Tears stung my eyes before I could stop them. "Michael," I whispered, reaching across the table for his hand. "You could never be a disappointment. Not ever." He tried to smile, but his voice broke. "Then why does it feel like I'm letting everyone down? I hear kids at school talking about college, scholarships, careers they've already planned out, and I'm just me. I don't know where I'm headed." I squeezed his hand tighter. "Listen to me, sweetheart. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. No one does. Life isn't about being perfect or knowing all the answers at 17. It's about learning, growing, and finding your path at your own pace. And as for letting us down, you couldn't, even if you tried. You're one of the greatest blessings of my life. You make me proud every single day, not because of what you do, but because of who you are." Michael's jaw trembled, and for the first time in years, I saw tears roll down his cheeks. "You really mean that?" he whispered. I stood and moved around the table, wrapping my arms around him from behind and resting my chin on his shoulder. "I mean it with everything in me," I said softly. "You're smart, kind, thoughtful, and stronger than you realize. When I look at you, I don't see grades or trophies. I see the boy who comforts his sister when she's upset, the young man who still hugs me when I need it most. That's what truly matters." He turned and hugged me back, his voice muffled. "I just don't want to fail you, Mom." I pulled back just enough to meet his eyes. "The only way you could ever fail me is by giving up. And you've never done that. Trying, even when it's hard, is what counts." The kitchen grew quiet, the kind of silence that feels full, heavy with love and understanding. Then Michael let out a shaky laugh. "Wow, I didn't mean to get all emotional tonight. I've just been holding that in for a while." I brushed his hair back like I used to when he was little. "I'm glad you told me. You never have to hold things like that inside. Promise me you'll always come to me, no matter what." "I promise," he said softly. Later that night, after Michael went upstairs, James came into the kitchen and found me wiping the counters. "Everything okay?" he asked casually. I nodded, smiling through the tears still threatening to fall. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Everything's more than okay." But deep inside, I knew something had shifted. That evening, sitting at the table surrounded by the remnants of dinner, my son had opened his heart in a way he never had before. And in that moment, I realized something important. No matter how old he grows or how uncertain life becomes, my role as his mother isn't to have all the answers. It's to remind him again and again of the strength and worth that have always lived inside him.